Welcome everybody to Beat the Shift Baseball. This is episode 120 for Tuesday, September 21st. Oh man, that's such a nice number, isn't it? I'm Alex Uy. I'm here with Ray Estrada, and we've got another postseason race podcast for you guys today. That's pretty much all we're going to be talking about, but boy, are these some tight races. We're just gonna riff about all the craziness that's been going on, and it's going to be a wild couple weeks ahead that we'll go ahead and preview as well. So yeah, before we dive right in, I want to remind you guys that you should follow us at BeatTheShiftBP on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram to let us know what you think about all the stuff that we're talking about. If you have ideas about things that you want to hear about, or if you just want to say hi, that's the place to do it, at BeatTheShiftBP. All right. Let's get this going. Ray, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's just the two of us. You can afford us a little bit longer than one word answer if you choose today.
No.
No? Okay. All right. Then I'm sorry for asking. Let's talk baseball. We should probably start with a topic that you are probably really, really happy about. And that would be the Padres absolutely imploding. It was not really a tight race involving the Padres for quite some time. That belongs to the Giants and Dodgers over there in the NL West, and in its own right is crazy entertaining. We might talk about it a little bit, although we did get into it quite a bit last week. But the Padres, man, are they even gonna finish over 500? Are they gonna make the wild card in the National League?
I didn't consider the 500 question, but yeah,
we're getting that time of the year, right?
Yeah, they're now the third team out of the wild card. You have Cincinnati and Philadelphia sitting there at 3 and 3.5 back, I think, respectively. I mean, St. Louis just keeps winning. They've won 9 straight. But I mean, yeah, the Padres. Machado was yelling at Tatis after Tatis flipped out over a strike call, and on one that Jace Tingler got ejected for arguing. And there's an Athletic article that we don't have a resident athletics subscriber for Bode here to have read it for us, but
how do we not have the Athletic yet? It's so ridiculous.
from the first couple of paragraphs I was able to read, and from the headline, it doesn't sound like the players are too happy with Jace Tingler. This is a full meltdown mode, and the Padres could, I guess, not finish above 500 and be looking for a new manager. If are you going to get rid of the manager, or are you going to get rid of a couple $300 million guys, Eric Hosmer, who they're paying a lot to suck, and this pitching staff that is just constantly hurt and or bad. So it's a little rough. They already scapegoated Larry Rothschild, and that clearly worked out well for them. So excited to see what AJ Preller comes up with next.
Yeah, and the drama's fun. It adds a nice perspective and a little bit of explanation, or at least on the surface level, to why the Padres are so bad. At the end of the day, they just don't have the guys to get the job done. Like, everybody there, healthy or injured, just hasn't been getting the job done. Okay, Fernando Tatis, he's probably getting the job done. Jay Cronenworth, he's been streaky, probably getting the job done. Machado, yeah, he's been fine. Nobody else, though, really on that whole diamond, you named a lot of them, is really getting the job done. And you can't really do that when you've got a lot of really good teams contending for 2 wildcard spots. Really 1 wildcard spot at this point.
Yeah.
Which they're not out of either. They're 76 and 73 right now. The Cardinals just took it to them. The Cardinals are 80 and 69 for that second wild card.
Nice.
Nice. Very nice. So they're not out of it. And they'll probably finish over 500 because they have to win 5 more games to get to 500. And there's 2 weeks left. So, probably we'll get there. But it doesn't look good when you have one of your leaders, really, having to in a not so subtle way, chew out your superstar in the dugout. And that's just, that there's layers to it, right? And the content of what was being yelled is important because Machado's not there to bring down Tatis. He's there to remind him that he doesn't have to worry about his own performance. Like, he's here to help his team win. Like, it's not about you, is what essentially was being yelled at him. Go play baseball. It's not about you. Everybody out there knows you're the best player on the field. So go play baseball. Which is a good message, right? Like, he has nothing to prove to the people. Like, it's only about winning. At least for them. Right? Like, there's more to it for us from like an entertainment standpoint, of course. But, like, if his attitude is going to be the way it is, if he's not going to have his head in the game, then he's not going to get the job done. So
Yeah,
that's really all it is.
Yeah, and clearly his head was in the game when he dropped a routine pop fly and then passed up 2 easy outs to try and get an out at home and led to a 5-run inning.
Look,
the next day,
that kind of stuff happens, right? It happens to everybody. Big leaguers, yeah, it does. It really can't happen in situations like that, especially. But I don't doubt that this way that Tatis has been feeling is. I don't think yesterday was the first time that he's displayed this kind of body language, but it's certainly the first time Machado's had to yell at him.
I guess that it kind of started with
in front
the
of
bench
everybody
coach trying to talk to Tatis about that, and then Tatis and the bench coach were having a discussion, and then Machado had to get involved. When Machado has to be the adult in the room, I mean, I don't mean a ton of disrespect to Machado, but if Machado has to be the adult in the room and the veteran presence, there's something off with the makeup of your team.
And that's something interesting too. You touched on like the article there and discussion around what was really happening with Machado yelling at Tatis, because if you just look at photos of it, it looks like he's just there chewing him out. But no, I think Machado's taken really important steps since being in San Diego to mature and become a leader, and I think he understands that things that he did as a young player were really, really just out of line and stupid, and that's not a formula for success. So, props to him. Maybe better ways to handle it, whatever it may be. Like, he's taking it upon himself, and he's not the one, pouting and throwing bats at third baseman anymore, like he was, 5 years ago or whatever, however long ago it was. The Padres, like, people are in full panic mode just about the construction of this team, and I think it's something that you've talked about a lot too. In this year where it was supposed to be the Dodgers versus the Padres, in the beginning of what will be this epic rivalry, and the Padres are stacking their rotation with former Cy Young award winners and aces of their own, and they never really got to the point to where the Dodgers are. It looked like they could potentially because their farm system was still very good, but this year especially, they don't really have it. So I don't know. Do you think it's something that people are overreacting to in the other direction now that they're falling apart, where it's like, man, the Padres really don't have the makeup to compete moving forward? Or is it just kind of like, what, you take your losses this year, but there's still a really good organization in a good position to put out a very scary roster?
I think they have the ability to have a very scary roster, but I think, they were a good third place team. Like, this wild card should have been wrapped up in a way a while ago, and all of a sudden the Dodgers have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. The Padres have fallen off, and yeah, I don't hate the makeup of their team. I think a lot of it is just kind of like, they don't think about fit too much. They just kind of grab a guy like, oh, we like that guy. We're gonna have him. He's gonna play. He's gonna be good. and some of those moves work, sometimes they don't. Adam Frazier was their big deadline splash that hasn't worked at all,
Yeah.
and it and then they got Daniel Hudson. That was their only other deadline move, and so it's just kind of, they haven't been that team yet. Like they made strides in 2020. It was a short season. They needed all 3 games to beat the Cardinals in the extra wild card round, and then they got swept by the Dodgers. And so they thought they were going to come into this year, challenge, and it seemed like the entire organization's focus was on beating the Dodgers, beating the Dodgers, beating the Dodgers. And then as soon as they were a third place team, a good third place team for, pretty much all year, they, as soon as they hit a little slump, they really just fell off a cliff. And then the division became out of reach, and now the wild card is looking slim. I think Fangraph said their chances at 5.5% to make the postseason.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a lot of mental stuff with this team. It's obviously it's a lot of bad baseball, but there's a mental aspect to it. It's hard to to be in third place a lot and just kind of keep trailing teams. But if you're hyper focused on catching one team, and then there's a surprise team like the Giants who's up there, I kind of want to say they panicked and just had no idea what to do, and then just kind of ran out of gas these past couple months.
Mm-hmm. They definitely ran out of gas, that's for sure. It's just too much void in their lineup with their pitching. Well, their pitching especially has been decimated by underperformance and injury now too. So, that's just never really gonna work. I think when healthy, they still have a very good staff. And their bullpen is still one of the best. But man, you look at a guy like Will Myers, who last year sprouted up with a 60-game season of mid 900s OPS production, and now he's back to, like very okay, like sub 800 OPS, like not great with the glove. He's just kind of there. And then you already mentioned Eric Hosmer, who is literally a void at first base, and especially compared to last season too.
Of the ball.
Yeah, he, like, when you have somebody out there who puts up negative production, it really is noticeable. Because there's only 8 spots out there on the field for position players that you can put in your lineup effectively. So yeah, Eric Hosmer was also very much an anomaly last year. His OPS is like, what is it, 120 points lower, more than that.
Oof.
Than last year. So they're just not getting it done. And I don't think they can rely on these guys to get it done either. So you talk about moving Eric Hosmer, get him out of there. Just, I think it's what it will take to be good.
But what it sounds like from other stuff that I've seen is that the clubhouse didn't like the fact that they were discussing a Hosmer trade after they acquired Frazier.
I'm sure the clubhouse likes Eric Hosmer as a person. Yeah. Nobody likes having trade discussions about their own guys. Like, they're not supposed to like it. But, they need some help. Jake Cronenworth has been really, really great, compared to what he was even projected to be. Like, he's been a very, very good surprise. They have still plenty of pieces in the minor leagues that they can turn to, it seems. So, I don't know. They just don't have it. It's not an upset. It's not a disappointment. They weren't there at the beginning of the year. The Giants came out of nowhere and did what they did, and the Padres were just left kind of sitting there twiddling their thumbs. So, there's that. They didn't get Max Scherzer.
No, they did not. Despite what Rosenthal's.
Some out there still holding out hope that Rosenthal was right, but Max Scherzer's been pitching better than he's ever pitched in his entire career, if you can believe that, over the last month with the Dodgers, which of course he has. So
Hasn't given up an earned run in like 33 and a third straight innings, I think.
earned runs, haven't heard of him. Yeah, it's his last 5 starts, 36 and 2/3 innings, no earned runs, as you said, 48 strikeouts to 3 walks, 14 hits.
Yeah,
Man,
that's unreal.
yep. Oh, and to add things, I mentioned this earlier, but Trey Turner has as many hits as a Dodger this season as Cody Bellinger does. And if you remember, Trey Turner came over also about a month ago. So, or a little, I guess it's longer now, but yeah, that's fun. That's neat.
It's fun times.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add about, the NL West stuff? I mean, the Giants and Braves played an unbelievably exciting series this past weekend on their side of things.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are right there.
Dodgers are right there. Game back. They don't play each other for the rest of the year, which is a terrible schedule. But I mean, I guess as a Dodgers fan, I got to rely on the Padres this week. They did split a series with them last week, but yeah, it's hard when you basically have to sweep just to gain a game or two. So it'll certainly be an exciting last 2 weeks. Dodgers actually finished with Milwaukee on the season. That's probably their next toughest series. I forget. I think they played, but just a bunch of NL West teams for the most part.
The fodder
coming down the stretch. So
the Diamondbacks
yeah,
and Rockies down there.
although the Rockies beat them 2 out of 3 last time, so who knows?
The Rockies playing good baseball somehow. I don't know how.
Rockies could conceivably finish third with a good finish in the NL West, and the Padres keep free falling. I think they're only like 6 games apart.
Yeah, they are 6 games separating. And the Rockies are something else too, aren't they? I don't know. But we we talked about the Cardinals a little bit too. 9 in a row now. I think that's the most
Devil magic.
The longest win streak they've had since 2004. What I read. So they look like they can do it. The Reds are there too. The Reds are right there behind them, a couple games back, and the Phillies are, they're closer to the Braves at the top of their division than they are to the Cardinals, the wild card. So I don't know. There's a lot of tight races that are boiling down over there. So I don't know. The American League side just gives me so much anxiety because as a Yankees fan, I'm used to the ebbs and flows of the season that are turned into enormous mountains and the deepest of deep trenches, just going along with how the team is doing. But we're still technically in 4th place, and we have to play all 3 of the teams ahead in the last 2 weeks of the season. So I don't know.
The A's are now
about
two
that
games
one.
back in the wild card again.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. The A's and the Mariners are both right there. So if any of these AL East teams slip up, they're just gonna slide right in and say thank you very much. We'll take that second wild card. Could you imagine if they take both? If like
that would be hilarious.
If all of these AL East teams just beat up on each other and the A's, I want to look at the A's and Mariners schedules, see if they're gonna have a
they're
tough
playing
going.
each other right now, I think, which is intriguing.
Yeah, they are. So, outside of this series, let's see. They actually play each other again next week. So, I don't think that's happening. I don't think both of them are making it in just with that schedule.
I forget if we talked about it on the podcast or not, but like I hate the way MLB's done scheduling this year where like teams play each other within like 7 days later.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially teams that play each other twice a year. Like it's not like the Mets had that gauntlet stretch where they played the Dodgers and Giants, alternating. And it's like that's not fun.
I think I said the same things before. Like I get it but especially for the players, they're probably like, "Oh, this sucks. Then not
Yeah.
please make it stop."
Yeah, but it's like when you have a team, like Dodgers Mets, like they meet each other twice a year, home and away. It's kind of nice to have a little break in between, like series. Like the teams have a different makeup, obviously, or usually, and you normally don't line up the same pitching matchups when you play not the same schedule.
Hmm. I yeah, and I think a lot of it really is just for the sake of narratives and ease of consumption. Like if you're a fan of your team and you just watch your team play on TV, and it makes it a little easier to learn the opposing team when you see them with a week apart versus 3 months apart. You have no idea who they're playing again because you've completely forgotten. And it's the same
That's the
thing.
fun of it, though.
No, but like I'm just saying for casual consumption and ease of watching,
Yeah,
it's easier to build like, this team just took 2 of 3 against us last week. Now and then, like, can they bounce back? Can they take it to it's like so much easier to build up the whole series
yeah.
really, versus like they like this team took it to us back in April. Can we get our revenge? Like, that's in April. Like, I did. Are you sure that happened? Like, I don't remember that happening. So like that's why. That's the reason why. Like, I understand. Like, as a player, you're probably like, Jesus Christ, can we get some variety? Like, I'm sick of seeing, the same pitchers, the same bullpen guys like 2 weeks in a row. Or maybe they like it. Maybe it's a little less research for them. They can just, they remember it from last week. You know what I mean? They don't have to jump around in the curriculum for their video homework that they got to do. I don't know, a lot of perspectives to take in there. But again, uh, to harp on that point a little bit more, the A's have this current 4-game series versus the Mariners. They have the Astros over the weekend. They have the Mariners again next week, away, this time, and then they'll have the Astros the following weekend again, also away. So it's all Mariners and Astros all the way
That's
down.
just such a dumb schedule.
Yeah.
And the Giants and Dodgers don't play each other in September.
Okay, well, to be fair, the schedule makers probably weren't anticipating the Giants being a playoff contender,
No,
going toe to toe with the
I'm not.
Dodgers for that. They did have to make these in
But
advance.
in general, like this is the second biggest rivalry you would say in MLB. You'd at least hope to put 1 or 2 series in September for them.
Well, they have a Padres series because that really was the more hyped matchup,
I
like
think they have.
before the season
Yeah,
started.
they still have one more Padres series to
Okay,
go.
well, at least they have that. That's good. Yeah, and then the Mariners also, they have the same games against the A's, of course, and then the Angels instead of the Astros on both of those weekends to
Jeez.
finish up. So I'd be way more stoked if I was the Mariners right about now, because boy, you might even have Shohei Ohtani shut down from pitching by this point, and man, like you're just loving life. That's the already eliminated Angels, by the way, from playoff contention. It is official. So dude, the
Officially
Mariners,
official.
officially official. The Mariners might be having a fun time the rest of the way if they can take it to Oakland. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
Also, Mariners will be hosting the 2023 All-Star Game.
Well, that's cool. We'll take
Yeah.
that. I don't know. Do you have any outsiders' insight? That was a weird way to say that. Any outsider perspective on the AL East and who looks like the most likely to make it in? Because I can't offer non-biased perspective here, I don't think.
I mean, from an outsider's perspective, the Blue Jays have been the best team of late, but like there's not a whole lot to separate at the moment. So, a 1 or 2 games could knock you out of the playoffs. And especially if the Yankees are playing all those three teams ahead of them. So, and the Blue Jays are playing the Rays right now. It's It's gonna be nuts. I I think this week might separate depending upon who plays each other. I know the Yankees play everybody, but um, I don't know.
Well, I'll let
It,
you know.
I
Just so we don't have to guess.
yeah.
The Red Sox, they're playing the Mets just for a pair of games here during this week. So, who knows what the Mets are going to do? Nobody ever knows. They got a big series against the Yankees um this weekend at Fenway. And then they get to play the Orioles and the Nationals. So, to finish up the year.
Well,
We need the birds to come to life a little bit and play some spoiler. If you're a Yankees fan, that is. And then on the Blue Jays side of things, you pull up their schedule, just so there's no guessing. You'd have thought
yeah,
that I
they have the
already had
Rays
this
right
open,
now.
huh? That's where you're wrong.
We do an hour of research and we charge 50 to $100 for an appearance. So yeah, we're on top of it.
Right. So they are in the midst of a Rays series, a big series against them. And then they have the Twins on the road. The Yankees, that's their next one. And then the Orioles. So a much easier couple of series there with the Twins and Orioles also on the Blue Jays side. That's looking great for the Yankees right now. And then
And then the Yankees
which, as I mentioned, involves
playing
all three of the teams ahead of them. We have the Rangers
and
right
the
now.
Rangers currently.
The Rangers currently, they really need to just take the easy ones because then it's Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Tampa Bay to finish it all up. Oh boy, what a time to be alive.
This is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to the wild card game at the O.co.
Wait, what?
The A's O.co Coliseum.
Oh, right. Okay. Do you think okay, I think if either of those teams is going to do anything, it's probably going to be the Mariners, just
Yes.
considering that. I don't know, which I'd feel okay with. Just throw the Mariners a bone.
But the A's are like masters at the backdoor playoff push.
That's true. Yeah. We shall see. We shall see. Do we have anything else noteworthy to talk about? Salvador Perez, not playoff contending, but he is now that was a weird way of saying it. He is the most home runs in a single season by any catcher in Major League history. That's a long time. Major League history is a long time.
That's a long time.
He's got 46.
That record stood for 51 years by Johnny Bench, 45 home runs.
Yeah, I guess if Mike Piazza didn't do it, then there really hasn't been any catchers that looked poised to do so since then. Because catching is still a pitiful offensive position. If you didn't know, it remains true. And Salvador Perez, even then with his 46 homers and a million RBIs, still has like a 330 on base somehow, which is like, okay, like dude, take a pitch every so often. I don't know. It's clearly working for him this year. We can't tell him what to do. But that's really cool.
Even last year he was fine. It's just that like he missed those couple years before with 2 freak injuries.
Yeah. He's always been just rock solid there and has always put up production in his own unique way, has not really improved any single facet of his game. He just mashes. And, this year he's mashed a lot more than in the past. That's always what he's done, is just hit a lot of homers and play way more than any other catcher in the league, basically. And that usually carries him to where he needs to go. But yeah, this season, 317 on base percentage, actually. I was giving him too much credit. So
take a pitch.
It's still well above his career average, by the way. His career 302 on base percentage.
Oh.
270 career batting average, which is good. And only 32 points higher in his career on on base. Dude. Oh my gosh, he swings. He really does swing when he swings. But anyway, that's pretty cool. And another thing that was pretty cool in this series that I alluded to earlier with the Braves and the Giants. Very fun series overall. This game was a day game on Sunday. Eddie Rosario hit for the cycle, and he only saw 5 pitches the entire day. And 4 of them went for a home run, a triple, a double, and a single. Not in that order, but he was wasting no time the entire day. So good for him.
The see ball, hit ball.
The Braves really did at the deadline go all in and said, "Give me all of the streakiest players that you got," and hopefully they get hot at the right time. They are hot right now. If you didn't notice, Adam Duvall is crushing right now. Eddie Rosario,
Duvall, who they non-tendered this offseason.
Yep, they're like, come back and do that thing that you do where you hit home runs every day. He's like, fine. He went 480 something feet today too in Arizona.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And Jorge Soler for a while. Is he injured right now?
No, he let off today.
Oh, never mind then. I guess he got cold again. Because I don't think he's nearly as hot.
He's still getting on like a 330 clip. I think I saw.
That's
since coming to the
Salvador Perez could never. That's he's very capable of just going on an absolute tear. He did for a while, at least when he was with the Braves. So that was their plan. Was we'll take the streakiest guys, and we only need them to be good for a little bit, and hopefully they are. And if not, oh well. This division sucks anyway. We still might win, and they very well could. The Phillies are close, but they are, again, the Braves at 78 wins, leading the East, and the Dodgers with 96 wins now on the season, second place, their own division. So something's off something wrong is going on there. That's not to say the Braves aren't good. It worked. Their plan has worked thus far. Yeah. Okay.
It's nice playing in a division where like the better teams that are constructed well just are known for just being like really underwhelming franchises in the Phillies and Mets. So it's nice. It's comforting for the Braves.
Yeah, the Braves really there's so little pressure over there. What do you think about it? And even when like the Nationals are very staunchly in rebuild mode, and it's like, all right, we really got nothing to worry about because these other teams, they'll find a way to do themselves in. We don't have to do much. That's a very different
and
brand
of
baseball.
The Marlins.
And there's the Marlins, right? Which is like
you always said barehanded catch today.
I did see that. That's not something you see every day. It wasn't a very elegantly routed ball in the outfield, but hey, he recovered and he was like shocked when he caught it. I would be too if I did that in a game. So that's kind of cool. They walked off on a wild pitch today too. The Marlins are fun. They're a team that you gotta like keep in your rear view mirror. You gotta look at them every so often and just check like, are they getting really good? No, not quite. Okay, they got a really good farm system.
They did this cool thing.
Yeah. They have a good farm system again? Okay, well, we'll see what happens with that. Yeah. All right, I think that's a good place for us to end it for today. Unless you have any last second things to add here.
No, I think we're good.
We're good for today. All righty. Well, that is it for us. Thank you everybody for sticking with us this far. If you are still here, make sure to leave a review, leave a like, leave a comment wherever you're listening. And once again, make sure to follow us at Beat the Shift BP on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Best way to connect with us. We want to connect with you guys. So yeah, go ahead and give that a look as well. All right. that's it for us today. Thanks, everybody, one last time. As always, Ray.
Peace.